This is what is happening in your collective worldly agreement. This is what is happening for millions and billions of people on this planet at this time. You are collectively moving and shaping the undercurrent, the underground, the underworld of your experience, the subconscious mind and the underworld. It is literally like going into the earth, because she is recalibrating too. There is so much that is happening upon your earthly experience that people are not seeing. That doesn't mean it is all bad. We want to say that because our consciousness, the consciousness of the collective, sometimes jumps into the pool of the idea that it is all so bad. There are so many nefarious beings or nefarious people or nefarious agendas. And yes, indeed, that exists. And yes, indeed, that is not all that is. And yes, indeed, you can choose to plug into those things and kind of feed them and amplify them and have them be a part of your collective agreement or consciousness, how to whatever degree that feeds you or serves you too, for whatever changes you decide to change within yourself, because you have plugged into that. Or you can unplug somewhat from that, or even all the way from that, and amplify those kinds of experiences, people experiences, earthly experience of living. Now, what we want to back up with that is about Earth herself. There is a piece here that we want to kind of take a sidebar in, and we want to speak to you about what it is on an energetic level that is happening within your earthly plane and the consciousness of your Earth herself, the mother known as Gaia. This consciousness of Terra energy is moving and shaping the collective landscape conversation on so many levels, and literally moving the landscape of her. She has to change too in her own evolution. It is a part of the agreement, and you are all in on it together. Now, the thing we want to say about that, energetically, there are so many ways. We've touched on this previous time, but we're not. Wow. Okay, then it's fine. Then the conversation moves towards this idea about how it is that there are so many machines, right? There are so much energies for the way, let us see, what do we want to say there? Well, there are so many ways in which your energies of the machines, on the ways that you use technology, the way that you have become into the future, and really you have stepped into something that is a very potent potentiality for life on Earth in a particular vortex of a timeline. And here's what we want to say about that. For those of you who are aware enough to understand that the consciousness of machines is growing, you could say this would be termed in the idea of robots and AI. The thing we want to say about that is that even the machines that produce, move your things, create your things in the world, these things are not the things that you are needing. But we will say those machines that even produce, in a sense, kind of your food. There is energy in everything, dear ones. There is vibrational structuring in everything. You just don't have the eyes right now all the time to see how much these things are all energetic vibrational frequencies interacting with each other. And how they are interacting with each other affects your biological makeup, the ways in which you are coded. Some of you are affected greater than others, and your sensitivity needs to become more woke up to you, taking good care of your body. Well, we're going to say every one of you, each and every one of you, whoever hears this in all time and all space, please take good care of your body. Give yourself much self-care, love, respect for what it is that this carrying body, this biology does, the psychological, emotional, physiological body that you are, is the earthly experience. Your mind, your spirit, your heart, your soul, energetic frequency is the consciousness that merges heaven and earth. And so the thing we're pointing to is even your food, the food you ingest, is being changed by the way your cultures are so much, as in many Western cultures especially, but the productions of food. Now, we are not just talking of your GMOs, but we are, of course, we are talking also about the energy, the unseen vibrational frequencies that move through and into the structures. Your water has structure, structured water, structured food. Think of an apple, think of a banana, think of an asparagus. They have the water quotient, they have the earthly resonance, for they are born and seeded and grown in the earth. They are a part of a living biology, and very often they are not tended to in the most loving, positive, organic kind of ways. And literally then machines do the work and vibrate energy into your foods. Now, the reason why we're bringing this up is not for you to become then afraid of food. No, 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 no. But simply to remember, let me take a moment with my food and clear the energy. Just like we say to you, clear yourself, take your salt baths. Remember, go to get the negative ions. Yes, of course, your sage, all of these things, even just your meditation and your asking and connecting to the invisible realms and asking and opening yourself physiologically, biology wise, clears and opens and clears and helps, and the prayers and all the blessings and all of the things that you do like this absolutely support you in these ways. And yet, remembering to give extraordinary gratitude for the food that gets before you, or the food you buy, or the food you grow, better yet, the food that you make a blessing into your body and into the earth. By those small acts, by giving gratitude to your earth on a regular basis, we say even to put your hands in the earth and to remember who you are, putting in the light and the vibration. Put your hands on the grass or in the dirt and say, thank you, dear ones. Move that energy into the space of the collective earthly love for that which you have agreed to with her, that is shaping the collective potential timelines of her as well. So your physiological body becomes amplified at a higher vibrational rate when you tend to it. So does your earth. When you see things happening upon your earth, there are movements, there are shakings, there are weather pattern changes. Some of those are natural, some of those are man-made. What we would say is, when you see these things, when you hear of these things, send your vibration of love, send your quotient of energy, of absolute amplification of light and blessings, thanking her for all the ways, no matter how that particular weather pattern or change looks, thanking her for her consciousness to understand that there is a greater game being played here and you all are in on it. You just are in the moment, sometimes forgetting, so that you amplify the frequency that is supportive of you being in divine connection in an energetic spirit way, in a matter way, all the ways, so that you are guided, supported, loved, taken care of, and choosing the kinds of timelines that you really want to. Now, when we say want to, does not necessarily mean you won't choose things that might be also somewhat difficult. But if they are, dearest ones, whatever that looks like or shows up in your life for, make the choice to remember. This is not a spiritual woo-woo idea. She says sometimes this, or it is not an idea even for the idea word, the word, there it is. Spiritual bypassing. It's not that. What we are saying is you amplify that which you put your attention to. So if you are amplifying the idea that a choice you made is the wrong and the bad, and look at me, now I'm suffering, you will feel the consequences. You will experience that then opportunity very, very differently than if you take personal responsibility. There's a key word, phrase, again, taking personal responsibility, say, well, this is interesting. Here I am. Quite a thing I have co-created for myself. What is my greatest opportunity here for the most expansion that I can grow and incarnate this being self? new identity, new ways of living, new ways of seeing this, new ways of co-creating, new ways of moving through this swifter, faster, that give me the greatest opportunity, the biggest bang for my buck in this moment of the experience that I have co-created that I'm not really liking all that much. This is the same what your earth is doing. She is saying there is a lot of change that must happen so that you wake yourselves up, so that the agreement that we have made amplifies to create more of the quotient of human being soul embodiments to elevate at a higher level, which will amplify. And many years ago, we spoke about the idea of, and we've brought this up before, but we will say it again, the idea of where there was this conversation happening about the Earth A, Earth B, or many different Earth A's or Earth B's. You could go on the alphabet, we don't know. You were speaking about it, there was conversations about it, and what we would say about that is, to a certain extent, yes, but that is more than just one or two Earths, because your own reality is the projection onto the screen, is it not? You are a co-collaborating creator of the reality experience you are having. So many of you, many of you say, we talk to say, well, I sure don't watch the news anymore, Osara. I learned that lesson a long time ago. We say yes and good and hallelujah, and yet some of those things about what is happening in the collective agreement absolutely make their way into you. And that doesn't mean that's wrong or it should be a different way. But we would offer you the idea of asking yourself, if it makes its way into me, do I still have to accept it? Is there a care that I need to put there? Is there really? Because will these things be working themselves out without you? Will certain things happen in the world if you are not amplifying your energy and attending to it in a hard way because it's a hard thing? We say. The reason why we are asking you to ask yourself these things is because if you look around the experience, yes, billions of you affect change all day long, every single day, without getting involved, without actually getting into the trenches or into the muck. How? Because you hold the vibration, and the vibration of the kind of frequency that you're holding, because you are doing meditation for 30 minutes or however long, because you are practicing to remember that you are a projector and a co-creator, and that you are amplifying light upon the darkness in this worldly experience. Because you are holding that and you will willingly devote yourself to that time, you change the frequency. You do. That doesn't mean you bow out of all things and you never get involved. Some of you may choose that. It is for an individual soul's choices of incarnation, for what that individual soul is learning. Now, to a certain extent, there is much that we have already said, that we know, that we have said just now in these pieces, that are connectors to some of the things we have said before.